Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another live Manchester United news update show on the channel. And oh my god, guys, this club is a complete and utter mess right now. It is miserable being a Manchester United fan at the moment. I feel like we just can't catch a break at all. So much is going on right now. And Ralf Rangnick, our brand new manager, Ralf Rangnick, hasn't even been here a month, and there's players leaking stories that they want him gone already. You know what is funny is I don't think things are as bad as we think at Manchester United on the manager side, but I think on the player side, things are bloody awful because you know what? We were unbeaten under Ralf Rangnick. We weren't great versus Newcastle. We were awful versus Wolves. We looked okay versus Burnley. We looked okay versus Wolves. I could see slow improvement. And then that Burnley game, it just felt like any improvements. Then that Wolves game, it felt like any improvements we did make in the Burnley game, in the Crystal Palace game, we went back straight to square one because it was Ollie substitutions, Ollie ball, and all of that. And since we've lost to Wolves, more leaks have come out, throwing basically the manager under the bus. And I want to get into the stories. There's 11 players that want to leave Manchester United. The dressing room's the most foul it's ever been. No one wants to be at Manchester United, apparently. No one likes Ralf Rangnick, his training sessions or his staff. Apparently not. Maguire is one of 3 players that does not like the presence of Cristiano Ronaldo in the squad. And there's so much to talk about. But I generally don't think Ralf Rangnick, he's going to take time to adapt the squad. And I think on a footballing side, things should improve in terms of performance, new coaches coming in and all of that. And I thought Burnley was all right. I thought Crystal Palace, I could see what Rangnick was going to do. I am not Rangnick out. I have faith in Rangnick. I'm not going to react and be Rangnick out. In fact, I've come to the conclusion that it's very, very likely to be the players at Manchester United causing the problem because these players have thrown 3 managers under the bus. Now, there's sort of 2 situations with it. Did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer cause these problems with Favourites FC and these problems continued on under Ralf Rangnick? Or have the players been the problem all along? You can make one of 2 conclusions and all of that. But I want to say, and I have to say right now, these Manchester United players are an absolute disgrace. Now, not all of them. I don't know which players it is leaking stories. I don't know which players it is playing up. But those players are an absolute disgrace and shouldn't be at Manchester United. Some of these players have thrown 3 managers under the bus. 3 managers under the bus. You know what? Was Ollie the best manager in the world? Probably not. But I tell you what Ollie did. Ollie basically took all the blame. Ollie took all the blame. Ollie took all the hate because these players were protected by Ollie. Okay, these players were protected by Ollie. And the thing that absolutely frustrates me is these players play for Manchester United. Do you know how many kids dream of being a professional footballer? You know, kids dream of playing in the Premier League and people wish they could play for Manchester United. There's millions and millions of people that dream and wish of playing for Manchester United one day and will play for Manchester United for very little money and put in 100% every time they play for Manchester United, 100% in every training session because they want to play for Manchester United. And unfortunately, I don't believe that's the attitude of some of our players. I think, unfortunately, some players at Manchester United have had life a little bit too easy to them, had life handed on a plate to them. They're rich, they've got the football lifestyle, they can probably get the girls they want, they've got all this money, they play for Manchester United, they've got this luxury life. And as soon as a new manager comes in and demands that they work hard, they can't hack it. Some of these players cannot hack it because their life's been a little too easy. And instead of wanting to work hard and prove themselves under a new manager and better their career and be the best player they can be, they're lazy. They just want the lifestyle. They just want the money. They can't be asked to work for it. And as soon as Ralf Rangnick comes in and makes the training sessions more intense, makes them do more work in training and makes the training sessions longer, they complain. I mean, just only last week, a story was coming out about, oh my God, we have to train after 5 p.m. I have to drive home in the dark. Seriously, what a hard life. What a hard life you live. Honestly, what is it? And someone just put in the chat, what happened to being professional? I don't know what happened to being professional. I think the worst part is Ralf Rangnick hasn't even been in charge a month and there's already a player throwing him under the bus. There's already maybe players throwing him under the bus. And that absolutely infuriates me. Within a month, you decided you're going to play up, you're going to cause dressing room problems, you're going to cause leaks, and you want this new manager gone. Have people forgotten what the definition of a manager is? Like, a manager's got to come in, he's going to take time, he's going to make some changes. But some of these players think, I don't like him, it's been a month, I want to get rid of him again, and want to leak stories. It is an absolute bloody disgrace. And now my computer's going, shut up, computer. These players really, really, really need to get their act together. I said it in my TikTok earlier. I did a short TikTok on this. I said, either work your ass off, try get into this team, try prove yourself, try be the best player you can be, and absolutely love and cherish the fact that you're living many people's dream playing for Manchester United, or get out and leave our club. Because if you don't want to play for Manchester United, then leave. Because I tell you what, there's a million, 100 million people out there that would probably love to play for Manchester United, and they would do it for pretty much no money at all, and they'd work their arse off every training session, they'd work their arse off every single match. But apparently 11 players want to leave. Apparently 11 players are unhappy, and the mentality we have is an absolute disgrace. There is a lack of mentality in that club, and they throw managers under us. There's an attitude problem, and I tell you what, a lot of this comes down to the Glazers. You know, I'm not going to point fingers at players. I'm not going to point fingers at managers. I've had enough of pointing fingers at players. I've had enough of pointing fingers at managers. There's some players that are a problem. I don't think the management has been well managed, but overall, that goes back to the board. That goes back to the owners, and the owners are basically the people that have caused this mess. They've let this club rot into the ground. They've made this club toxic. They've let idiots on the board that don't know football run the club, make the decisions. They neglected the CDM position for 3 years, which is literally biting us in the arse. The only sympathy I can have with these players and some of the things they're saying is, to be fair to the players like Greenwood, Rashford, Martial, to be fair to Cavani, to be fair to Ronaldo, to be fair to all those attackers at Manchester United, they are living off very little service. I will give them one thing to the attackers that are complaining: they're living off very little service. And the reason the attackers are living off barely any service, and the reason that the attackers are barely getting any of the ball at Manchester United, is because we keep playing the same midfield that is crap. Our midfield cannot move the ball from defence to attack. And I think that is the only reasonable excuse I'll give the attackers for being frustrated. The only reasonable excuse I give the attackers for wanting to leave, because they can see the midfield is crap, but McTominay will never be dropped, Fred will never be dropped. We won't play anyone good in the midfield. So unfortunately, the attack can't get the ball, because we can't move the ball from defence to the attack. And that is the only excuse I will give the attackers at Manchester United. But at the end of the day, maybe there's this frustration that the same underperforming players are playing. Maybe there's this frustration that the midfield is crap. Maybe there's this frustration overall. But the board and the Glazers are the ones to blame. You can go in on Rangnick if you want, but I think you're an idiot if you're going on Rangnick and saying Rangnick. I honestly think you're an idiot, but that's your opinion. You know, idiots blaming Ronaldo again, that's your opinion. We blame the players. I think a little bit of it is on the players. But at the end of the day, the board neglected the CDM position for 3 years. The board let it get like this. The board have recruited the wrong players, recruited the wrong members of staff, and they've let this club so slowly decline, because the standards of Manchester United are getting lower. So please do smash a like on the video if you're Glazers out. If you want these Glazers out of our club, smash a like on the video, because I want them out as well. And please do subscribe down below. I just want to say, because I've just gone on a bit of an 8-minute rant before I get into the news, before I get to Maguire stuff and all of that, before I get into everything, I just want to say this video is sponsored by Manscaped, by the way, guys. There'll be a link pinned in the chat. There'll be a link in the description to go check out Manscaped, and you can get 20% off Manscaped with free shipping if you use my link and use the code ATF at checkout. So for all your men's stuff, go over to Manscaped. One of the best products they have at Manscaped is the Lawnmower 4.0 ball trimmer. Like, it is basically the best out there, in my opinion. Not that I use it, but from all the boys that I know that use it, they say Manscaped is the one. And as a woman, obviously, I don't use Manscaped. I don't have balls, believe it or not. But women do prefer men that keep themselves tidy below, and Manscaped is the place to go. The Lawnmower 4.0 even allows you to customize your trim through additional guard lengths with size 1 to 4. And as you know what they say, trimming the bush makes the tree look longer. So do go check out Manscaped. Code ATF, 20% off as well. This guy says mismanagement is one pick. Explain. I say it ever again. Maguire cost 80 million. Let's talk about Harry Maguire. Let's go and talk about Harry Maguire. Our £80 million centre-back. Now, first of all, I want to say, I don't think Maguire's a bad player. I don't think Maguire's a bad centre-back. I think Maguire needs to be dropped because he's out of form, and when Maguire's out of form, he's bad. But I will always say this: Maguire should not be Manchester United captain, because if we had a proper captain at Manchester United and not Harry Maguire, I'm sure the dressing room would not be as bad as it is right now. I'm pretty sure Harry Maguire being captain is one of the reasons the dressing room is so toxic, because they're probably looking at this guy and going, oh my God, this club is run so bad. The people in charge are so bad. How is this guy our captain? That's probably making the players doubt Manchester United because Harry Maguire's a bloody captain. I tell you that now. And the most embarrassing thing is Harry Maguire has been our worst centre-back this season. Phil Jones has not played in 2 years, and Phil Jones put in a better performance versus Wolves than Harry Maguire has all season. Now, I'm not saying Harry Maguire's a bad centre-back. He was brilliant for England in the Euros. He was brilliant the second half of last season, but he's been absolutely crap. And if you go off form, Harry Maguire does not deserve to start for Manchester United, and he definitely does not deserve to wear that captain's armband. And I think we can all agree on that. And if you do agree with me on that, do smash a like on the video. But I want to share my screen with you guys. I want to share this news report because this will make you laugh. This will make you laugh. Now, this has been reported from the Express. There is a frustration from some Man United players about the influence Ronaldo holds over international teammates and other Portuguese-speaking players. Maguire, Cavani and Greenwood have found that undroppable presence of CR7 a challenge to their roles. Okay, you know what? Before I go on this, before I talk about the story, let's just say I do have some sympathy with Mason Greenwood. You're joking. You're absolutely joking. Load. There we go. I do have some. I've not shared my screen. My screen's crashed. My screen's absolutely crashed. Let me get the story back on my screen. Bloody hell. Can you see that on this? Can you see that on the screen? Before I address this story, okay. First of all, it's come from the Express. I can't tell if it's 100% true or not, but I have some sympathy with Mason Greenwood because I will say this, Cristiano Ronaldo, let me first of all, so this doesn't get misinterpreted, Cristiano Ronaldo is not the problem at Manchester United. Manchester United were crap in the few games before we signed Cristiano Ronaldo, and we played crap a lot last season and got lucky. Cristiano Ronaldo is not the problem at Manchester United. He's got 19 goal contributions in 18 starts. He's the reason we're out the Champions League. He's literally scoring goals on very little service. People are saying all Cristiano Ronaldo does is do nothing, then score a goal. Cristiano Ronaldo, if his job is to get service and score. The reason Cristiano Ronaldo is doing nothing and then scoring a goal is because the bloody team is doing nothing to give it to Ronaldo. Ronaldo's job as a striker isn't to go do everything. When Martial would do nothing, then score a goal. That's what Ronaldo's doing. That's what a striker's role is. They get the service, they score the goals. And there's people there saying Ronaldo adds nothing to Manchester United other than goals. Do you know what the role of a striker is? It's to add goals. Ronaldo needs service. It's not Ronaldo's job to make things happen. It's Ronaldo's job to score goals and put that header in, put that shot in, and that's what he's been doing. Ronaldo has been doing his job at Manchester United, 19 goals and assists in 18 starts. So I just want to clarify, Ronaldo is not the problem at Manchester United, 100% not the problem, because you know what? I tell you what, we wouldn't be any better if Martial had started all those games that Ronaldo has started, because I tell you what, Martial would have just the same impact as Cristiano Ronaldo, very little service, very little to work with, and Cristiano Ronaldo is literally scoring impossible goals and getting no service and doing well. Ronaldo would be on 30 goals if he was at Manchester City. So, everyone thinks Ronaldo's the problem, but Ronaldo ain't the problem, let's be honest. But I will say, I do sympathise with Mason Greenwood because for me, the only negative impact Ronaldo's had on Manchester United is 1, Mason Greenwood, and 2, Bruno Fernandes. The only 2 players that I think are affected by Ronaldo's presence are actually Greenwood and Bruno because it changes their game. Greenwood was playing as the striker, Greenwood was playing as the main man, and he was getting a goal a game before Ronaldo went. Ronaldo came in, Greenwood gets shipped off to the right, Greenwood doesn't play a lot, Greenwood plays well when he plays, gets dropped. I sympathise with Mason Greenwood because he was doing just fine as our main man up front, and I sympathise with Bruno Fernandes because Bruno Fernandes had to adapt his game from scoring the goals to being the sole creator and letting Ronaldo score the goals. So Greenwood and Bruno are the only players I feel sorry for, and the only players I think Ronaldo's maybe had a negative impact on. Cavani, maybe less minutes, but he's been injured, so he's barely going to play anyway. But Harry Maguire, if this is true, that Harry Maguire is complaining that Ronaldo is undroppable, it honestly will be the biggest load of crap I've ever read. No way Harry Maguire can seriously be out there complaining how Cristiano Ronaldo is undroppable. Harry Maguire, if you were complaining that Ronaldo hasn't been dropped, you must seriously be delusional or on drugs. Because Harry Maguire, you can complain that Ronaldo hasn't been dropped. You can complain about Ronaldo's undroppable presence at Manchester United. But at the end of the day, Harry Maguire, if you seriously believe that you don't deserve to be dropped, then that is an absolute joke. Because every Manchester United fan knows Harry Maguire should be dropped. Lindelof's been better, Bailly's been better, Varane's been better, and Phil Jones has played one game and shown you up. Harry Maguire has been an absolute disgrace this season as a captain and as a player. The dressing room was not controlled. Maguire's job is to control the dressing room, control the mood at the club. He's not done his captaincy duty, and he's not been good on the pitch. Harry Maguire has been an absolute disgrace this season at Manchester United, and if he's seriously, complaining and found the undroppable presence of CR7 a challenge to his role, then he must be mad, because I don't know if you're complaining that CR7 isn't getting dropped, because if you are complaining, Maguire, that CR7 isn't getting dropped, are you delusional? Maguire deserves to be dropped. Ronaldo doesn't deserve to be dropped. By watching the games, we can all tell that. But also, how does Ronaldo have an effect on Maguire? Ronaldo has effect on Greenwood. Ronaldo has effect on Bruno. And I guess Ronaldo has effect on the likes of Martial and Cavani's minutes. And maybe the reason Martial wants to leave, maybe the reason Cavani's going at the end of the season, and maybe the reason Greenwood's not happy at the moment is all because Ronaldo's affecting their minutes. Maybe. But Maguire has no place whatsoever to complain about Cristiano Ronaldo, because Maguire's a centre-back. They're not competing for the same roles, and Maguire should be dropped. Maguire should be dropped. So if he generally thinks it's unfair that Ronaldo is undroppable, he must be on drugs, because I don't know how Maguire hasn't been dropped. I tell you what, Maguire, if any other manager managed you, if you were at Manchester City, if you were at Liverpool, if you were at any properly run club, you would have been dropped months ago and you wouldn't be captain in the first place. So honestly, I hope this story's a load of BS, but absolutely wound me up. Absolutely wound me up. Shaw will need to change the mentality. Now, actually, I will talk about Luke Shaw's comment. I will talk about Luke Shaw's comments. So Luke Shaw came out after the Manchester United game yesterday, after the Manchester United versus Wolves game, and said that Manchester United aren't giving it. Basically, he was kind of saying that Luke Shaw was kind of saying after the Wolves game that the Manchester United players weren't giving 100% on the pitch. He said Man United need to do better than this, but he doesn't think everyone's 100% there, basically. Luke Shaw was kind of saying after the Wolves games, there's a big problem in the dressing room. Some of the players aren't 100% there. That's what Luke Shaw was sort of hinting at after the Wolves game. And that is a big, big problem at Manchester United. Ronaldo's legacy is being ruined by these crap United players. And I absolutely agree. All over TikTok, everyone's saying that Ronaldo's made Manchester United worse. All over TikTok, everyone's saying Ronaldo's a finished player. All he does is score goals. I honestly, the lack of intelligence in my generation of watching football is insane. I tell you what, the kids that watch football these days, the FIFA kids that get all their information and judge all their football knowledge on FIFA cards, FIFA stats, FIFA positions and all of that, they're idiots. There's so many idiots out there my age, the FIFA generation, that think that Ronaldo is a problem at Manchester United and he's finished and all he does is score goals. I think people out there don't understand the role of a striker is to score goals. You know, the role of a striker is to be there to score the goals. You know, the team provide the striker with service. The reason Ronaldo's not heavily involved in the game, but when he does get involved, he scores a goal, is because Manchester United in the midfield can't control the game. Honestly, guys, I tell you this now, Ronaldo's a striker, his role is to score goals. You know, there's generally Man United fans that think Ronaldo's finished and think Ronaldo's job is to change the whole team and to be on the ball all the time and the whole game revolve around him and him control everything, him change everything. No, Ronaldo's come in to score the goals. Manchester United, it doesn't matter who plays at striker. It could be Ronaldo, it could be Cavani, it could be Greenwood, it could be Martial, it could be Erling Haaland. Does not matter who is playing striker for Manchester United. None of them are going to change this team, because every single striker at Manchester United is barely going to get any of the ball, because unfortunately we've neglected our midfield. But three summer transfer winners in a row where we haven't signed a CDM, we've neglected this midfield. And unfortunately we have one of the worst midfields in the Premier League, and games are won and lost in midfield. Games are controlled in midfield. The team that controls the game, has the most possession and can transition the ball from defence to attack the most smoothly will create the most chances. And normally if you create the most chances, you win the game. All of this happens in midfield. So the team that has the most of the ball, the team that controls the midfield, they normally win the games. The problem is Manchester United's midfield is crap. Fred and McTominay made Joel Linton and Longstaff look good. We made Wolves' midfield look brilliant, and they do have a brilliant midfield, Wolves. And you know, we take Neves at Manchester United. Games are won and lost in midfield. I've said it 1,000 times. And the reason Ronaldo doesn't get heavily involved in the game. The reason when Greenwood's up top, he doesn't get heavily involved in the game. The reason Cavani doesn't get heavily involved in the game isn't on the tactics. It isn't on Greenwood. It's not his fault he gets none of the ball. It's not Martial's fault he gets none of the ball. It's not Ronaldo's fault he gets none of the ball. It's not Cavani's fault he gets none of the ball. It's the fact that our midfield, when we play Fred, or when we play Matic and Fred, or when we play McTominay and Fred, they cannot transition the ball from defence to the attack. They cannot control the game, and they get overrun. And because they get overrun, they can't control the game. The attack is starved. The attack is 100% starved at Manchester United. And then there's all these little idiots who are kids that don't understand the role of the striker, going on TikTok saying, Ronaldo's made Man United worse. He's the problem. Right, honestly, I love Martial, but we dropped Ronaldo for 4 games and played this exact same team with Martial instead of Ronaldo. There's not going to be a massive difference, because if Ronaldo can't get much of the ball, do you really expect Martial's going to run and get loads of the ball, then run it all the way up the pitch? No, you can't expect a striker to do something if you don't give the striker any service. And I've generally seen so many people on TikTok today say Ronaldo is finished, say he adds nothing but goals. Yes, Ronaldo adds nothing but goals because he's a striker. His job is to score goals, and Ronaldo has 19 goal contributions and 18 starts for Manchester United this season. Yet apparently he's finished. Ronaldo is 37. He's playing in the hardest league in the world. He has 19 goal contributions in 18 games, but apparently he's a finished bad player, because we live in a generation where people judge people's footballing ability of FIFA and aesthetics rather than do they do their job or not. And Ronaldo is doing his job. I will agree with one thing about Ronaldo, and he's affected Greenwood. I'll agree with another thing about Ronaldo is he's probably made Bruno get worse, but he hasn't made us a worse team. The midfield is the reason we're a crap team, not Ronaldo. And I'm fed up of mainstream media. I'm fed up of all these pundits going in on Ronaldo. First, last season they were going in on Paul Pogba. Now they can't go in on Paul Pogba because Paul Pogba's not involved. They need a new scapegoat. Now Paul Pogba's barely involved. Ronaldo is the new scapegoat. First, Paul Pogba was the problem. Then Martial was the problem. They've not been playing, so the media need to find a new problem. So now Ronaldo's the problem, then Bruno's the problem. They won't talk about Maguire being the problem. They won't talk about Wan-Bissaka being a problem. They won't talk about McTominay and Fred being a problem. They won't talk about Matic being a problem. If you listen to all the pundits, if you listen to the mainstream media, Pogba was the first problem, Martial was the second problem. Now Ronaldo and Bruno are the problem. No, Ronaldo and Bruno are not the problem. They've had some impact. But let's go back. If we had a good midfield, we wouldn't be having these issues in the first place. I genuinely believe this. Josh700 has put in the chat that Ollie was the problem. Now, I will say this now, guys, and I want to know your thoughts on this. But I was very much Ollie out. I was very much like Ollie. I was very much Ollie out. I protected these players. I know how good some of these players at Manchester United. And I was Ollie out, I'm Ken out, I was feeding out and all of that. And I was quite harsh on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer towards the end. I said he has to go. I said the coaches have to go and all of that. But I will apologise to Ollie, because I tell you what, Ollie had a much harder job than we thought. We saw all these good players. We thought, how is Ollie not getting something out of all these good players? And Ollie had to go. I still believe Ollie should have been sacked. I will not apologise for that. He was neglecting Donny van der Beek. He was playing the same underperforming players. He wasn't learning. Of course, Ollie had to go. Ollie had to be sacked. And you know what Ollie did, though? Ollie protected these players, because now Ollie's gone and we've got a new manager in, and people are saying, oh, Ralf Rangnick's not good enough. Let's just remember what Ralf Rangnick's done at other clubs. Let's just remember the players that we have, and let's just remember people Ralf Rangnick has trained, Tuchel and Klopp. Ralf Rangnick knows what he's doing, but he can't work miracles if the players don't want to be here, if the players aren't willing to try. And I think the problem with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is, I think one of the problems Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had is the players weren't willing to try at Manchester United, and they threw him under the bus. And Ollie took all the blame for it. Ollie was the only one sacked. All the coaches stayed when the players threw him under the bus. And what they did to Ollie, they're doing to Ralf Rangnick. And there's a time where you have to go and look at it and go, you know what? 3 managers in the last 3 years, all of them have been thrown under the bus by the players. When will this cycle stop? When will this cycle stop? We need someone to come in, give these players a kick up the arse, and get this cycle to stop. Now, the only thing I will say against Ollie is, did Ollie cause this mess? Because actually, when you look at when Ollie joined Manchester United, and when you look at when Ollie left Manchester United, we've built this brilliant squad under Ollie, but Ollie's almost left the squad worse than when he built it, because the mentality, we've got a better team, but the mentality and the morale of the team is the worst it's ever been at Manchester United. Honestly. And the funny thing is, okay, I don't want to blame Ollie for this mess. I don't want to go out and blame Ollie for this mess. But part of me does think, and I will not blame Ollie, I was harsh on Ollie, I feel sorry for Ollie, he had a harder job than we all think with these players, but part of me does think, did Ollie cause this mess? At the end of the day, the Glazers, the board, they caused this mess by giving Ollie so long, giving Ollie these crap coaches and not getting proper coaches and all of that. The Glazers and the board are 100% to blame for everything at Manchester United. Okay, but do you guys think Ollie somewhat caused this mess? Because, you know, the report was saying that the players that are frustrated at the moment at Manchester United are Donny van de Beek, Jesse Lingard, Eric Bailly and Dean Henderson. Now, those 4 players were 4 players Ollie absolutely neglected, barely gave any minutes to, even though the players in their position weren't performing well, apart from Dean Henderson. Dean Henderson, you know, he can't complain that he's not playing. Look at De Gea. But Bailly, Donny and Lingard, you know, had every right to be frustrated. And apparently it's been reported that they're the 3 players still frustrated now. And maybe they're the players leaking the stories. Maybe they're one of the reasons the dressing room is negative. Did Ollie cause this? Because the morale in the dressing room at Manchester United has been reported as the lowest it's ever been, the worst it's ever been. The morale at Manchester United is apparently the worst it's ever been. And, you know, one of the reasons the morale is low at Manchester United, and we've known this for a while, is because players are frustrated that the same favourite players are playing every week and nothing's changing. And I think the problem is shit only hit the fan after the Wolves game. You know, after Newcastle, there wasn't many leaks. There was just that, oh my God, I have to drive home in the darkly. After Newcastle, there wasn't many leaks at Manchester United. But I think the reason everyone was so angry after the Wolves game was because the midfield, Matic and Donny played a full 90 minutes. Matic and McTominay. Matic and McTominay versus Wolves played a full 90 minutes. And I think everyone was frustrated with Ralf Rangnick because we had Donny on the bench. We were clearly losing the game because of the midfield. The midfield couldn't control the game. The midfield was overrun from minute 1, and it didn't change the midfield, even though we had a player like Donny on the bench that could have come on and controlled this game. And, you know, the frustration under Ollie and all the leaked reports that came under Ollie was the players don't like Ollie because he's playing his same favourite players. He's not giving new players a chance and he's not trying something new. I do believe the reason Man United has got so toxic is partly because of this favourites FC, not dropping these British players, not dropping McTominay when he has 10 bad games in a row, not dropping Maguire when he's been awful, giving Maguire captaincy after 6 months. I think Ollie somewhat caused these problems because I think all of a sudden, problems again are happening at Manchester United after Donny van de Beek can't get on, after Jesse Lingard can't get on, after Eric Bailly can't get on ahead of Maguire. You know, these problems, I think, originated with Ollie, generally. However, I will apologise to Ollie because I tell you what, these players did not try. These players, you know what? Look at Phil Jones after 90 minutes versus Wolves. Look at Phil Jones before the Wolves game. Look at Phil Jones after the Wolves game. There's a picture in my last video I showed you of Phil Jones before the Wolves game. Every single player that walked out that tunnel for Manchester United versus Wolves was freaking miserable, apart from one. And that was Phil Jones jumping up and down, trying to pump himself out. Now, after the Wolves game, which player was huffing and puffing and looked like they played their heart out, and which players looked like they didn't care? Phil Jones was huffing and puffing like he played his heart out. And all the other players said, you know what? I don't care. And that's the problem. Phil Jones was the only player versus Wolves that looked like he cared. Looked like he was running his heart out and all of that. And I'm thinking, for Christ's sake, you play for Man United. Act like you care. Act like you're trying. But the mentality is so bad at Manchester United that when these players walk out, it's almost like they're being forced to play with a gun at their head. It's like someone's holding a gun to their head saying, you've got to play for Manchester United. And if they don't want to be here and they're not willing to work hard to be here, why are they here? Why are they here? Susan Lawrence says Fletcher is picking the team. Guys, do you think Darren Fletcher is having some impact on this Manchester United team? Because generally it's one of two situations at Manchester United. It's either situation one, where the problem is 100% the players, there's a bad attitude problem with the players and some of these players need to go. Or it's problem two, that actually the whole reason nothing's changed is because now Fletcher's choosing it and Rangnick's just another yes man like Ollie. It's one of those two situations. I think there's a little bit of both involved, though. If I was going to be 100% honest, I don't like how Darren Fletcher is making subs. I don't like how Darren Fletcher's on the line, you know, making decisions. That's not his job. Darren Fletcher's just Scottish. He probably loves McTominay. He probably loves Maguire. I think that Darren Fletcher shouldn't be allowed to give these decisions. I don't think Ralf Rangnick should be giving Darren Fletcher so much control because, you know, if we're playing exactly the same to how we were playing under Ollie versus Wolves, and Darren Fletcher's the man calling the shots, who was also here under Ollie, don't you surely think let's not have anyone under Ollie involved in the decisions. I tell you this now, I don't think anyone that was making decisions under Ollie should be making decisions under Ralf Rangnick. Anyone at all. Guys, please do smash a like on the video if you have not already, and of course subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. Ralf has to take the blame as well with well, the players do care, aren't playing. He needs some good Jones and needs to make big decisions. Now, look, I will criticise Ralf. I will criticise Ralf's man management versus Wolves. I will criticise Ralf's man management versus Wolves, but I don't think Ralf Rangnick is to blame. You know, Ralf Rangnick's been here a month. The role of a manager is to change, transform, and adapt the team. It takes a miracle for a manager to completely change a team in a month. If you look at how Ralf Rangnick's played with his previous teams, how Ralf Rangnick coaches, it's the polar opposite to what Ollie's been doing. 100% the polar opposite to what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's been doing. So I won't particularly go in on Ralf Rangnick, actually, guys, because I think he wants to play a very different way to Ollie. His training sessions, as we know, are very different to Ollie's, and players are complaining about Ralf Rangnick's training sessions. And that says to me, that's because the mentality of the players is absolutely abysmal. I will criticise Ralf Rangnick's man management versus Wolves, how McTominay and Matic played 90 minutes and he refused to take off one of the sixes. That was very stubborn. That was very Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I do question how Ralf Rangnick talks about wanting to control games, but yet he won't give Donny van de Beek any minutes, despite saying he wants him to play. I will say that about Ralf Rangnick. I will criticise him, but he's not to blame because he's only been here a month. Thank you very much, Daryl, for joining the Members Club. Guys, please do smash a like on the video if you have not already. Let's go back to full screen, as we've got lots and lots to talk about. I have got some transfer news as well about Manchester United signing Neves in January. I will get into the Neves story in just a second, but I do want to say, if you're not subscribed to Alice Talks Football, please do go ahead and click that subscribe button down below if you have not already. I do daily Manchester United content on the channel, so if you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, and more, please do subscribe to Alice Talks Football for daily Manchester United news, updates, and more. We're in the January transfer window. There's rumours about ZAKARIA, there's rumours about Neves, there's rumours about KAMARA. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest on that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And of course, share the video. Smash those likes, smash the subscribe, share the video and all of that. But everybody, if you agree with me that Harry Maguire should not be Manchester United captain, then do go smash that like button if you agree with me that Maguire should not be Manchester United captain, because he really shouldn't. He really shouldn't be Manchester United captain. Is my screen a bit blurry, or are we okay? As Shane says, hi Alice, have you seen the Neves links? I pray we get him. Telling you now, he is an elite midfielder. He always plays well against us and ran the show at the weekend. Ruben Neves, you know what's funny? Is there some Man United fans out there that said they didn't want Ruben Neves in the summer? Now, I said Ruben Neves wasn't my first choice because he's not an out-and-out CDM. But I said, oh my God, I'd take Ruben Neves any day over what we have. But there's some Man United fans in the summer that didn't believe we need Ruben Neves. Look at the levels between Scott McTominay and Ruben Neves. Look at the levels between Matic and Ruben Neves. Absolute levels. Manchester United need a CDM. 100%. And there's only one positive. There's only one positive right now with how bad we're playing. And the only positive about how bad we are right now is it could force the Glazers into buying a CDM. Now, the Glazers, they don't care about Manchester United, but one thing they do care about is money. And if we finish in the Champions League, the Glazers get more money. So the Glazers will spend money to make sure we finish in the Champions League because they know they'll make more money. And that's the only thing the Glazers care about Manchester United, is making sure we're in the Champions League. And with the way we're going, with the way Spurs are going, with the way Arsenal's going, we look destined for 6th place. Maybe even 7th because of West Ham, and maybe even 8th because we want to be the new Arsenal this season. Honestly, we look absolutely destined to not finish in the top 4. And the only positive about us not looking like we're going to finish in the top 4 is it might give the Glazers the kick up the arse to go out in January and sign a CDM, because there's been a lot of reports about Manchester United going to sign a CDM in January and all of that. Now, I want to say one thing before I get into the Neves news, before I get into ZAKARIA news, before I get into the KAMARA news, and that is, do you think it's funny how when shit has hit the fan at Manchester United, when it's the most negative, toxic environment it's been at Manchester United, when there's been bad dressing room leaks at Manchester United, do you think it's a little bit coincidental that the day after, or the morning after, sorry, all these dressing room leaks at Manchester United, we get Neves is coming, we get HAIDARA is coming, we're going to spend money in January? I think that's got PR spin all over it. I think a lot of these stories have got PR spin all over it. I generally do. It came from Alex Quick from TalkSport. He said that Manchester United are interested in Ruben Neves, and then Jack Otway-Journo said that the Manchester United board have told Ralf Rangnick they're willing to take action in the January transfer window. And Sky said that Manchester United are in the market for a midfielder. KAMARA or Ruben Neves are two of the players they've been looking at. So lots and lots of sources, and they've all been English sources. And when it is English sources reporting news, it's often a PR spin, because that's what we do. We leak these stories to the English media for a PR spin with stuff about it, Manchester United, saying we're looking to sign Neves and KAMARA in January. Now, look, I hope it's true, and I hope we are going to go and sign Neves in January, or look at HAIDARA, or look at ZAKARIA, or look at KAMARA. But I think the fact that all this has come out the morning after these leaked negative news at Manchester United, I just think it's an absolute PR spin to distract us from the mess that our club is. An absolute PR spin. I just missed a super chat, from Kamar, and I've just seen it now. So if you're still watching, Kamar, I'm sorry, I missed a super chat from you 5 minutes enough, where he said, get rid of the players, enough is enough. And you know what? We need to get rid of some of these players. I tell you what, everybody in the chat, tell me, what players would you get rid of at Manchester United? What players would you be looking to get rid of at Manchester United? Because I tell you this now, honestly, Dean Henderson can go on loan, because I think he's still a good player. Harry Maguire can bloody go. He can go. Scott McTominay hasn't proved himself. Matic can go. He's finished. Mata can go. Cavani can go at the end of the season because he's old. Lingard can go. I mean, so many players can leave Manchester United right now. I mean, who would you get rid of? Like, honestly, let me know down below. Like, I would name more players, but I think it would be a bit reactionary, because I know that these players can be good, but there's a lot of players that should be leaving Manchester United. All of them except De Gea, says Matt. Every player should leave except De Gea. 10 players. I mean, reportedly 11 players want to leave Manchester United. Screen has gone out of focus. Let me, because my screen's gone out of focus, I'm just going to get the news up again, because that'll be easier. But if I was going to guess the 11 players that wanted out of Manchester United, my guesses would be Martial, Lingard, Pogba, Cavani, Mata, Matic, Dean Henderson, Donny, Lingard. That's 9. I guarantee you 9 in that 11. Who else might want to leave Manchester United? Who else might leave? I think I said Bailly. Maybe Telles, 10. Maybe even Rashford, or one of the players that plays a lot, 11. But there's 11 players right now that play for Manchester United that don't want to be here. And that brings me back to Luke Shaw's comments saying, we're not all 100% there. That 100% brings me back to Luke Shaw's comments where he said not everyone is 100% there at Manchester United, because 11 Manchester United players want to leave. 11. I'm sorry, it absolutely baffles me. It absolutely baffles me, guys. You play for Manchester United. Like, do these players not realise how many people dream and would love to play for Manchester United? Do they not realise how many people's dream it is to play for Manchester United, these players? It's like so many people would play for Manchester United, play their heart out every training session, play their heart out every match for a lot less money, And there's a lot of players at Manchester United that don't want to be here. And this is the problem we're having, because they've thrown 3 managers under the bus. It's not going their way, and they're having us drop. This is what's going on with the players, and this is what I believe is going on with the players, is there's some players at this club that have had life too easy. They've got ridiculous wages to play for Manchester United, and everything's been so easy for them. A new manager comes in and demands things change. Ralf Rangnick's come in, and he's demanded that we work harder in training. He's demanding that we should do more in training. He's demanding more from the squad. But unfortunately, these lazy players that have had it easy under Ollie for 3 years, because Ollie absolutely protected them and let it be all Friends FC and all of that, and Ollie wouldn't drop certain players, and he 100% protected players. These players that have had it so easy under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have now can't adapt to a new manager coming in, demanding they work harder in training, demand they do more, because there's an attitude problem at this club. And so these players, instead of wanting to work hard and be like, I want to get into the squad, I want to be the best player I could be, I want to be the first name on Ralf Rangnick's team sheet, instead of going, I'm going to give it my all in training and become Ralf Rangnick's favourite and become a Manchester United fan favourite and be the best player I can be, some of these players have such a bad attitude problem that they can't handle that Ralf Rangnick's demanding more than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They can't handle Ralf Rangnick wants them to train harder. They can't handle it. and they go, you know what, I don't want to be at Manchester United. It's too hard. Life's too hard. I'll be better somewhere else. And actually, you know what? You wouldn't be better somewhere else, because if you're not willing to play for Manchester United and you don't want to be at Manchester United, you have an attitude problem, because you earn ridiculous money and all you've got to do is please the fans and work your hardest on the pitch. So if you don't want to be at Manchester United, I say leave. But if you do want to be at Manchester United, work your hardest on the pitch and prove yourself. Absolutely prove yourself, because I don't understand why someone wouldn't want to play for Manchester United. Maybe there's a frustration with the attackers that we're playing with same shit midfield every week and it's affecting their game. Maybe the attackers are annoyed that their game's going downhill. But instead of blaming others, instead of complaining, work your hardest, want to be the best player you can be, and run your little heart out. But unfortunately, when we were playing Wolves, I don't think many players were running their heart out. I don't think many players were training their hardest. And that is the sad, frustrating thing at Manchester United. I think it's absolutely sad. As Ben Connery said, they all look miserable on the pitch. Honestly, they all look miserable on the pitch. And as Daniel says, we're on 175 likes, only 25 likes needed for 200 likes. Only 25 of you guys watching need to smash that like button for us to hit 200 likes, guys. So please do go ahead and hit that like button if you have not already. It costs nothing. If you think Harry Maguire should not be Manchester United captain, smash your like on the video. And of course, guys, if you are new, please do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football. If you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, and more, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel down below. But I want to read exactly what the leaks are, because I've been complaining about the leaks. Well, I actually haven't read out what's been said. So I'm going to read out everything. I'm going to read out everything that's been said, everything that's been leaked. So this is all the information that's been leaked. So this came from Darren from the Mirror, Disco Mirror. So the first report that came out last night was from the Mirror. And the Mirror said that 11 players now want to leave Manchester United after becoming disillusioned with life at the club. In fairness to some players, I can understand why Donny van de Beek would become disillusioned with life at the club, because he's been promised to play, we're playing crap, and we're still not playing him. But apparently 11 players, according to the Mirror, want to leave Manchester United because they've become disillusioned with life at the club. The Mirror also said that many of the Manchester United players are underwhelmed by Rangnick's coaching and not impressed by his tactics and disappointed in the quality of his assistants. This is what I find absolutely mad. Ralf Rangnick has been at Manchester United a month, and already someone's leaking that the Man United players are not happy with Ralf Rangnick's coaching, they're not impressed with his tactics, and they're disappointed in the quality of assistants. How dare you complain about a manager that's been here a month? If you actually do your research on Ralf Rangnick and you actually read up about Ralf Rangnick, he's a good tactical manager. He did a good job at Hoffenheim. He did a good job at RB Leipzig. He's no Pep Guardiola. He's no Thomas Tuchel. He's no Jurgen Klopp. But he's a better manager than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and his coaches are probably better coaches than what we had. I think the Manchester United players are only complaining about Rangnick, only complaining about the coaches, only complaining about it all because, unfortunately, they've had it way, way too easy with Ole. And I think it's an absolute disgrace that there's a player leaking that Ralf Rangnick is not impressive, his tactics are bad, his coaches are bad. Seriously, Ralf Rangnick hasn't even been here a month. Ralf Rangnick hasn't even been here a month. And apparently players have already given up on Ralf Rangnick because they don't view his coaching as good enough. Do these players actually know what a manager is? Like, that is my question. Do these Manchester United players actually know what a manager's job is? Do they expect Ralf Rangnick to come in and turn it all around within a month? No, because Ralf Rangnick's so different to Ole. It takes time to adjust, to learn his style, to learn his system. But within a month, some of these Manchester United players, instead of wanting to learn Ralf Rangnick's style, instead of wanting to learn Ralf Rangnick's system, and instead of giving it their all to play under Ralf Rangnick, would rather complain that Ralf Rangnick isn't good enough and that they're not impressed with his tactics and by his coaches. Rather than actually go, he's only been here a month. What's he meant to do in a month? Let me try and let me learn. I think it's an absolute disgrace. A source close to the squad, according to the Mirror, claimed that 11 players now want to leave the club. And a Manchester United source also said it's not good. The atmosphere is really bad, and it looks like there's going to be big problems ahead for United. And this is the worrying thing. The source that the Mirror spoke to said that it's not good at Manchester United. The atmosphere is really bad, and it looks like there's going to be big problems ahead. So it doesn't look like it's getting any better. That is the big problem. It does not look like it's getting any better at Manchester United, because apparently, according to this source, there's only going to be problems ahead for Manchester United because players don't want to be here, and it's causing a negative dressing room environment. I will say, and I saw this tweet and someone else said, of course, there's probably 11 players disillusioned. I will say what the players are doing is disgraceful. But the story about 11 players being disillusioned, I can understand a little bit why. Because Ole played the same sets of players despite poor form. He played an unfit Maguire instead of Bailly against Leicester. So, we complain about favouritism. There is favouritism at Manchester United, and I can understand why players like Donny are disillusioned. I can understand why players at Bailly are disillusioned, because how are you playing an injured Maguire that's been crap over a fit Eric Bailly? How are you playing a crap Scott McTominay that's injured over Donny van de Beek? So to an extent, the only protection I will give some of the players is, you know what? I understand why players want to leave. I do understand why players want to leave Manchester United, but what I don't understand is why they're leaking after Ralf Rangnick being here a month and this training's not good enough, because that says that they've got an attitude problem. But the thing that it just infuriates me that just like they did with Solskjaer, certain Man United players have started leaking stuff on Rangnick to the press. An interim manager that's been here for 1 month, and some players already leaking stuff to the press. I understand why players want to leave, but I cannot understand why some players at Manchester United will leak stuff to the press about an interim manager that's been here a month. That says to me they've got a big, big attitude problem. Diego says that it could be a player's agent doing the leaking. It could be a player's agent doing the leaking, exactly. But it's still not good enough that the leaking's happening in the first place. Now, I want to read out a really, really interesting story, guys. And this interesting story actually came from the Daily Mail. And the Daily Mail said that on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's final day at Carrington, he was asked by some members of staff why he hadn't done more to expose the players who let him down so badly by criticising them in public. The question was met with a smile and a shrug of his shoulders. And you know what? I look back at the Ole interview, I look back at that, and I go, what? You know what? A lot of players were criticising Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in public, and he took the blame for it. Ole could have exposed a lot of these players, and he didn't. He didn't. And Ole took all the blame. And I feel sorry for Ole, because Ole absolutely got thrown under the bus. Now, I believe Ole should have been sacked. He was not good enough. He wasn't the man for the job, and maybe he caused the problems with the favouritism. But I do feel sorry for Ole, because Ole got thrown under the bus. The board only sacked Ole and not all the coaches that were just as much involved as Ole. So Ole took all the blame for that. And in fact, Ole protected all these players. Honestly, it's awful. It's awful. Chris Wheeler from the Daily Mail also said that the Manchester United players are talking openly about this being the worst atmosphere at United they can remember. The mood around Carrington has been described as oppressive, with up to half the squad saying to be unhappy. And this, when I read this, it infuriates me. You've got a new manager in. This should be the time where the Man United players think, okay, we're going to change. This is going to be a good season. We're going to turn our season around. New manager in, new manager bounce, new fresh attitude. But instead of new manager bounce, instead of new fresh attitude, instead, apparently it's the worst atmosphere it's been at United. The players are complaining about how bad the atmosphere is, and apparently half the players want to leave. Disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. The mood at Manchester United has sunk so low, the players fear it's close to hitting rock bottom. The players have complained the mood at Manchester United is close to hitting rock bottom. I tell you what, I feel like it's rock bottom as a Man United fan. It's rock bottom as a Man United fan, because you know what, players? To all these players that are complaining and all of this, just remember that us fans support and love Manchester United. We give so much time to watch this club play, so much energy for this club. We pay so much money to go and watch games that we work for. And all we want to see from our players is our players working hard and our players wanting to be here. You get paid absolutely ridiculous money. And then all you've got to do is want to be here and work your hardest. But unfortunately, when we're going to watch Manchester United, we're watching players that don't want to be here and players that don't want to work their hardest. And I was thinking, you play for Manchester United, you've got everybody's dream, and you're not willing to work hard, you don't want to be here. And absolutely 100% infuriates me. And the mood is so low to be low if you're a Man United fan right now. It's so low. The Mirror said, and this is a report that came from the Mirror, that Lingard, Donny, Bailly and Henderson are among those players who've come frustrated that they're failure to be given a chance under Ralf Rangnick. And I understand Donny van de Beek's frustration, but I will not be impressed if Donny's already complaining after a month. I think if Donny doesn't get his chance to come into the season, I understand his frustration. But Donny, Lingard, Martial, Bailly, Henderson, they shouldn't be complaining after a month, because it's only been a month when they haven't got their chance. I agree Donny should have played, but he's only been here a month. And I'm just really angry as a United fan. I'm really, really angry, and I think a lot of you guys are as well, because things under Ralf Rangnick, I think, are being made to sound worse than they are. You know what? Things aren't brilliant at Manchester United, but the leaks have just shown how bad it is. The leaks have just shown how bad the club is, how bad the club morale is, the state of the dressing room. The leaks have shown how bad everything is. Because actually, if we're going to be 100% honest, you know, we've got 10 points out of 15 under Ralf Rangnick, which, you know, is still better than we were of Ole. It's not as bad as it was. We looked decent versus Burnley. We had a good first half versus Crystal Palace. I don't think we're as bad as we've been made out to be. Like, I think the Wolves game was a setback because I thought we were moving forward after Burnley, then we went straight back to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer ball, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer subs, which I still blame on Fletcher because I saw Fletcher making the subs. But I don't think things are as bad as we think they are under Rangnick. Because if you actually look at the games, yeah, they're not brilliant, but you can see slow progress. But I just think we had one game and we went backwards on the Wolves, but there was progress versus Burnley. I think on a footballing side, things aren't as bad as we think under Ralf Rangnick. You know, he's only lost one game. This was, we were unbeaten in 6 games under him before that, 100%. But in a Manchester United dressing room side, for all the leaks, things look like to be the worst ever. Things look like they're the worst they've ever been, and the worst they've ever been for Manchester United, and that's frustrating. That annoys me. That 100% annoys me that things look awful at Manchester United right now. And it says to me it's the players, because the things with the players right now at Manchester United look absolutely awful. The players don't want to be here. And Luke Shaw said it after the game, not everyone here is 100% committed. And the problem at Manchester United is not Ralf Rangnick. The problem at Manchester United is not Ralf Rangnick's coaches. The problem at Manchester United is, how can you expect to be a happy, jolly squad when some players don't want to be here? And if players don't want to be here, they're not going to be happy. They're not going to inject positive energy, and they're going to bring everyone else down. The players that don't want to be at Manchester United are bringing everyone else down, bringing the squad morale down, which overall in 10 is bringing our performance down. So Manchester United, I've got something to say to Manchester United. Not that they're watching, but Manchester United are watching. If a player wants to leave Manchester United, let them go. Do not hold them hostage. Do not try and get more money out of them. Let them go. Because every single player at Manchester United right now that doesn't want to be at Manchester United right now is affecting the morale of the squad. And the dressing room is so toxic because there's so many players that don't want to be at Manchester United that are being held against their will. There's so many players at Manchester United that want to leave. And if they want to leave Manchester United, you know what? Let them go. Because if they're here and they don't want to be here, they're going to affect the players that do want to be here. So my message to Manchester United is, let those that want to go, go. I don't care if it's another rebuild again, because I don't want any player playing for Manchester United if they don't want to be here. So many people dream of playing for Manchester United. So many people would work their arse off, give it their all for a lot less money. And these players have had life too easy. Some of them have had it on a plate, ridiculous money. And now life's getting harder under Ralf Rangnick, and they're complaining, and it's hard. And if they don't want to be here when we're at our worst, they don't deserve to be here when they're at their best. Because I don't want players that, when things start going downhill, refuse to play for Manchester United, don't want to be at this club. Because no one in their right mind should think they're better than Manchester United. None of these players should think they're better than Manchester United. They're bigger than Manchester United, because they're not. They're not. And if you are at Manchester United and you don't want to be here, and you're bringing the morale down, you're bringing the dressing room vibes down, you're not working your arse off for Manchester United, then good riddance. Paul says, keep smashing the like button, guys, and subscribe if you're new. Yes, guys, please do smash a like on the video if you have not already. And of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. I'm sorry it's been more of a negative video for a change, but it's just so negative at Man United. And someone said to me today on TikTok, let me just adjust my camera because it's really blurry. Is that better? Because my camera's gone all blurry. But someone said to me, why is my freaking camera focusing? God, focus camera. But I want to say something. Someone said to me today on TikTok, Alice, all you do is whinge. All you do is whine. That's what someone said to me on TikTok. And I said, for God's sake, support Man United. Have you seen us this season? I've not been a big whinger and whiner about Manchester United, because you know what, we were right last season. But the last couple of weeks, all I'm doing is whinging and whining about Manchester United. Because you know what, I can whinge and whine about Manchester United. And someone said, shut up whining about Man United. And I'm not going to shut up whining about Man United, because we've been absolutely abysmal. And I hate the fact that this video is basically me going on about Manchester United. I hate the fact that this video is so negative. But unfortunately, it has to be, because of how dumb Manchester United are right now. Honestly, guys, please smash a like on the video if you have not already. By the way, let's go for 300 likes. So everybody that's not hit that like button, please do, because it costs nothing to hit that like button. And of course, please do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. If you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, and more, do go ahead and make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well. Who wants to leave Manchester United? Well, 11 players want to leave Manchester United, but who wants to leave? Now, this is me taking a guess. I can guarantee you some of these players definitely want to leave Man United, like Martial. But if I was going to guess the 11 players that want to leave Manchester United, it's Martial, Pogba, Cavani, Lingard, Dean Henderson, Bailly, Donny, Mata, Matic. That's 9 players that I know will probably want to leave Manchester United. Eric Bailly being number 10. And then number 11 will probably be Ronaldo if we don't get Champions League football. Or maybe someone a little bit unsurprising. Maybe a Tellez, maybe a Delo, maybe someone new. Maybe Phil Jones, actually, because, he's had a game and he thinks, you know what, I can still play. Black Capsule says if they want to leave Manchester United, nobody is bigger than the club. For me, Pogba, Lindelof, Rashford, McTominay, Bruno, Martial, Lingard, Maguire don't want to play for Manchester United anymore. I mean, who do you think doesn't want to play for Manchester United? But I tell you what, I love Marcus Rashford. But his attitude, it looks like he doesn't want to be here. I mean, look, maybe Marcus Rashford doesn't want to be here because his career isn't taking off, because he's had to work with crap YouTubers. Freaking out. What am I on about? I have a little bit of sympathy with Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood and Martial. I do have sympathy with Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood and Martial, because 2 years ago, Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood and Martial were playing really, really good. Really, really good. Were the best of their career. 2 years ago, Marcus, Mason and Martial were scoring goals, outscoring Salah, Mino, Famane. Oh my God, Salah, Mane, Firmino. Let me shut up. Let me talk again. Slow down, think, because I've messed up everything. I have a little bit of sympathy with Mason Greenwood, Anthony Martial, and Marcus Rashford, because 2 years ago they were outscoring Mane, Firmino, and Salah. Absolutely messed up the first time, and now 2 years later they've declined. All three of them, Martial, Rashford, Mason Greenwood, they haven't got better in the last 2 years, and I have a little bit of sympathy with them, because Manchester United neglecting the midfield is one of the reasons they've declined. Because if you neglect the midfield, you have midfielders that can't transition the ball from defence to attack, which means they get less of the ball, and when they do get the ball, they get it in worse areas, and it's harder for them to do anything. The second reason I have sympathy with those three players is because, in fact, if you look at it, you go, you know what, they've had the worst coaches. They've had, all these coaches aren't good. If you look at the background of all these coaches, they aren't good, and they've had to work with some crap coaches for 2 years. Crap coaches. So maybe Martial wants to leave, maybe Greenwood wants to leave, maybe Rashford wants to leave, because they realise their career is stagnating because the coaches are bad at Manchester United, and what can they do if they get no service because the midfield is crap and our owners don't care enough and neglecting the midfield. So a little bit of sympathy with some of the attackers at Manchester United. I could understand why the attackers want to leave, because they're in a graveyard shift. And I think the reason Manchester United is so toxic, the reason Manchester United is as bad as it is right now, the reason everything at Manchester United is awful right now, and I generally believe this is because of how badly we run. The reason it's so bad at Manchester United is because we've been left to dry. The owners, the board, have decided to go 3 summer transfer windows without signing a CDM. 3 summer transfer windows, the owners have gone and the board has gone without signing a CDM. Because we haven't signed a CDM, we've neglected the midfield. I will say this again, games are won and lost in the midfield. If you cannot control the midfield and you cannot get the ball from defence to the attack, how do you expect your attackers to perform and play well and score goals? Our attackers have been poor for Manchester United. They've not been scoring goals. But what do you expect them to do when the midfield is so useless that they can't even do a good ball into the attackers? What do you expect our attackers to do? And that comes back to the Glazers. That comes back to the owners that thought, you know what, we're going to sign Ronaldo in it as a PR stunt instead of getting a CDM this summer, because they only care about money. And because they've neglected the CDM spot, all the attackers are unhappy at Manchester United because the midfield's so crap they can't get the ball and none of the attackers are improving. Because they employed Ollie and Ollie's coaches that were not good enough and did not have the CV to be at Manchester United for so long, this caused so much favouritism, this caused fallouts at Manchester United. So Manchester United is where it is, and Manchester United in the position it is right now because of some idiots on the board, because of some absolute idiots on the board. And it's frustrating as hell, guys. Absolutely frustrating. But these players are a disgrace. Now, I want to talk about the transfer news, guys. As Diego says, guys, only 73 likes needed for 300 likes. So please do smash a like on the video if you have not already. So please do smash a like on the video if you have not already. And of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to Alice Talks Football if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates and more. But I do want to get into the January transfer news, because apparently Manchester United are going to sign a CDM in January. Apparently. PR. I think it's a PR spin. But Hurst Class has said that Manchester United have told Rangnick that the funds are available if he wishes to make a signing. Ralf Rangnick is thought to believe that the midfield area needs strengthening, and HAIDARA is on the list of potential recruits. So Hearst Class has come and tweeted that Manchester United will give Rangnick the money and will let him go and sign HAIDARA, the CDM. The second thing that's come out is from Fabrizio Romano is that Manchester United are focusing on the summer transfer window, not in January. Okay? But if something happens in January, Fabrizio Romano said it will involve a midfielder. So that's the second thing that's come out. James Ducker from The Telegraph, regarding Manchester United news stories and more, says that Paul Pogba, Jesse Lingard and Edinson Cavani are all expected to leave Manchester United in the summer. It's 3 agents. I think we could all figure that out. James Ducker from The Telegraph also said that Ralf Rangnick is facing a battle to quell the dressing room unrest at Manchester United with confidence and morale on the floor. A third of the senior squad is open to leaving. It is true, a third of the senior squad at Manchester United is open to leaving. James Ducker from The Telegraph also said that Rangnick has also told Donny van der Beek he wants him to stay to the end of the season and he will get game time. Dean Henderson has been informed that he's not allowed to leave on loan this month. And I do think the timing of this news being leaked at the same time Dean Henderson's been told he's not allowed to go out on loan is a bit coincidental. Now, I'm not saying Dean Henderson's leaked it or any of that. I'm not accusing it, but I'm just saying a little bit coincidental here. Alex Cook from TalkSport says that Manchester United are interested in RUEBEN NEVES, and Jack Outway Journal says that the Manchester United board have told Rangnick they're willing to take action in January, and Sky Sports has said that Manchester United are in the market for a midfielder with KAMARA and NEVES, two of the players they've been looking at. So the news that's coming out today, and all the news that's coming out today, is apparently Manchester United are in for a CDM. Apparently Manchester United do want to buy a CDM. We're looking at NEVES, we're looking at HAIDARA, we're looking at KAMARA. But I will say one thing, guys. This story is coming out the next morning after some really negative stories have come out about Manchester United. And all that says to me, and all this story says to me is, you know what? Part of me really believes this is a PR spin. I'd like to believe it, but I know Manchester United, I know our owners, they don't give a flying F. They don't give an F what goes on this club. They don't give an absolute crap. So I just don't believe, and I can't put faith that these owners are seriously willing to go out there and spend a bit of money. I generally think the owners don't care. I think the only motivation for the owners to spend money is because they want top four. It's because they absolutely want top four. Daryl says Martial's staying. Well, Martial might have to stay. You know, he's not playing because he said he wants to go. And why do you want to play a player that doesn't want to be here? But if we can't sell Martial, he will stay. And I kind of want Martial to play, but I want Martial to play because I think we need Martial. I generally think we need Martial. But if he doesn't want to be here, you can't play him because it just contradicts everything. What about Declan Rice? It's not happening, let's be realistic. And Essa16 says, this is the only place where I fully trust Rangnick without a shadow of a doubt, where he can find those gem of a players, specifically midfield and defenders. So hopefully this will be an interesting signing. You know what? I want the Glazers to let Ralf Rangnick spend money, because I tell you what, Ralf Rangnick's best strength and Ralf Rangnick's best asset is his ability to find hidden gems. So one thing I do want the Glazers to do is go and let Ralf Rangnick spend some money. 100%. We can't get rid of them poor purchase, too expensive to get rid of them, no one will pay the wages. The problem is, all the toxic players at Manchester United, all the players that want to go at Manchester United, we're going to struggle to get rid of because we don't employ people that know football on the board, so we end up giving average players stupid wages. I tell you what, 90% of our squad earn more than Heung-min Son at Tottenham. We'd all take Son from Tottenham over most of our players. But that, unfortunately, is how Manchester United are run. So Giles says that United players should take advantage of Ronaldo being in the team by looking at his commitment and mentality instead of being crap and egotistic mentality. Exactly. Ronaldo coming to Manchester United is not all about, Ronaldo returning, scoring goals, but the players should be learning from Manchester United because, now the media can't blame Paul Pogba. Now the media can't blame Anthony Martial because they're not playing or involved at Manchester United. The media now want to blame Ronaldo for everything going wrong at Manchester United. The media thought, you know what, we can't blame Paul Pogba. We can't blame Martial. Let's go and blame Ronaldo for everything going wrong at Manchester United. Because that's what the media are. That's what the media do. Okay? But let's not blame Ronaldo for everything going wrong at Manchester United. And actually, in fact, instead of complaining about Ronaldo, and apparently Maguire doesn't like Ronaldo's presence, apparently Greenwood doesn't, apparently Edinson Cavani doesn't, instead of complaining about Ronaldo's presence at Man United, all these players should be looking up at the fact that Ronaldo's at Manchester United and going, I want to be like Ronaldo. Ronaldo has got where he is because he's the hardest working player. Messi was always more technically gifted than Ronaldo and was probably birthed better than Ronaldo. But the reason Ronaldo is at the same level as Messi is because Ronaldo is the hardest working player in football. And a lot of these Man United players are lazy, complaining that they have to drive home in the dark, complaining Ralf Rangnick's sessions are too intense. Lazy. These players should be looking up at Ronaldo and going, look at his mentality. He got where he is today. Ronaldo is the player he is today because of his mentality. And you're absolutely right. Instead of complaining about Ronaldo, instead of not liking his presence, the players should actually be going, you know what? Look at Ronaldo. Look what he's done in his career. Look at his mentality. And they should be copying that. They should be trying to get Ronaldo's world-class mentality, his work ethic. But instead, they don't want to learn. And that's the problem with some of our players. That's the big, big problem. If we're not in for Frank Kessie this summer for free, great ball winner, complete engine, takes penalties too. I would love Frank Kessie at Manchester United. He's going to be absolutely 3 in the summer. I think we should go for him in January, but not much move. You blame Ronaldo to us. I don't blame Ronaldo. I won't blame Ronaldo for what's going on at Manchester United because I think people forget that Ronaldo's role is a striker. Ronaldo is a striker. His role is being a striker. Like, that is his role. And people are upset with Ronaldo because they're saying other than scoring goals, he's not offering anything. That's because Ronaldo's a striker. His job is to score goals, not to offer everything. You know, Ronaldo's not this energetic box-to-box cam that can influence the whole game. Ronaldo's a striker. He requires service. He scores the goals to win the game. Ronaldo's a game winner, not a game influencer. And people are frustrated and upset saying Ronaldo's bad at Manchester United because he doesn't influence the game and all he does is score goals. All he does is score goals is because a striker's role is to score goals. You know, I don't understand some absolute idiots out there. I don't understand it whatsoever. I want Ronaldo to retire at Manchester United, but he can't be our main striker. I'm happy with Ronaldo playing striker. I want to see Mason Greenwood play striker. I like Mason Greenwood's striker on his own. I think maybe he's affecting Mason Greenwood's development. But I'm not going to have a go at Ronaldo. He's scoring the goals. You know, without Ronaldo, without De Gea, we'd be getting relegated this season. Maguire better than Ronaldo? No way. And our players' mental attributes and mediocre. They should learn from Ronaldo's exceptional mentality, but not sure they are, says John Harvey. Exactly. And we need Van der Beek to play more often. And we do. That is the thing. And I hate saying this because Van der Beek this, Van der Beek that. But even when we win, I just think, how does Van der Beek get as little minutes as he does? Like, what is it with this club? Why did they sign Van der Beek if they were just going to throw him on the bench? Because Donny van der Beek is a very, very good player. We all know Donny van der Beek is a good player. And it's not like our midfield is good. If our midfield was good, I could understand why Donny wasn't playing. Like, I could understand why Tellez got barely any minutes because Luke Shaw was amazing. But when our midfield is so bad, and our midfield is so bad because they can't control the game or keep possession, when Donny's strength is controlling the game and keeping possession, I could never understand why Donny wasn't playing. We've gotten worse since Ronaldo's come. Like, we have gotten worse, but I don't think that's because of Ronaldo. Because if you look at the 2 games we played before we signed Ronaldo, we were crap as well. There was no difference. Greenwood was playing striker, didn't get any of the ball. Martial was playing striker, didn't get any of the ball. I don't think it's Ronaldo, but we have got worse since he signed. That's what I mean. Van der Beek has the work rate determinations our players should have. Apparently, Van der Beek is one of the hardest working players in training, which makes me confused to why 3 managers have barely picked him, which makes me think Fletcher is still having an impact. The only reason I believe Fletcher's still an impact is because he's right on that sideline, right by that subboard, and Donny's not playing. Generally think Fletcher's having an impact. Any player that doesn't like having Ronaldo in the team can leave. Complaining are the problem. Literally, the problem at Manchester United are players are complaining. That is the big problem at Manchester United. Guys, I just want to throw out, by the way, that this video is sponsored by Manscaped. If you click on the link in the description, if you click on the link down below and go check out Manscaped, you can get 20% off plus 3 shipping. If you go onto the Manscaped website and you use the code ATF at checkout, you will get 20% off Manscaped and free shipping. There's loads and loads of products on the Manscaped website for just keeping yourself clean and tidy down below, including the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. Now, the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, guys, is a ball trimmer. It's like the best one out there, apparently. All the boys I know that use it say you can't get a better one. And look, obviously I'm a girl. I don't shave down, but I don't shave balls because I don't have balls, so I don't use a ball trimmer. But girls prefer men that are neat and tidy down there. You will get more action if you're neat and tidy down there. And if you want the best one to be neat and tidy down there, go check out the Lawnmower 4.0. It has wireless charging. The new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery length last longer and make it sexy anywhere. So link in the description to check out Manscaped. If you use the code ATF, 20% off. So if you are looking at getting some stuff down there below for your balls to keep them tidy, keep them intact. Well, if you go on Manscaped now, you click on the link in the description, you can get 20% off. So please do smash a like on the video as well. And yes, after the Europa League loss, everything has changed except De Gea. You know what? David De Gea should be captain. David De Gea, let's throw this out because I'm going to end the live stream in a minute. But David De Gea's mentality, David De Gea probably had the worst end to the season he could have. David De Gea probably had the worst end of the season he could have because everyone was blaming him for the Europa League loss, missing the penalty, not saving one. De Gea's season ended horrifically. He barely played in the Euros. And David De Gea came back after probably having a very, very hard time, a very, very hard depressing time after the Europa League final. And he came back and he's back to best David De Gea. He's back to prime David De Gea. He's back to prime David De Gea. Boom. Brilliant. Some of these players go bad and then they can't get back up again. The mentality David De Gea has shown after the Europa League final to go boosh. Yeah? Why can't our players do that? Go, Dave hit rock bottom after the Europa League final, he's gone boosh. Why can't we hit rock bottom after Ollie? Why can't we go boosh? Because David De Gea has an elite mentality. He wants to be the best he can be, and he's back to his best. And these players should be learning from De Gea. And De Gea should be Manchester United captain. Smash a like if you agree with me that Harry Maguire should not be Manchester United captain, because Harry Maguire really should not be Manchester United captain. And of course, subscribe down below and all of that. Ronaldo is the most complete footballer in history. Just calling him the problem and forgetting what he did for this club is just disgraceful. These players need to respect him. Honestly, any players that disrespect Ronaldo, any fans that disrespect Ronaldo need to grow up. And you know what's funny is all the Man United fans that are going on Ronaldo, all the Man United fans that think Ronaldo's the problem at Manchester United are kids. They're absolute kids that think it's all about looking aesthetically pleasing and the FIFA generation. Look at what Ronaldo's job is. Look at his age. Look at his role. He's doing his job. Look at Manchester United midfield. Are they doing the job? No. The problem is the midfield, not Ronaldo. And unfortunately, the mainstream media don't want to talk about it because they know they'll get more clicks if they talk about Ronaldo rather than McTominay, rather than Matic. They'll want to blame Pogba. They want to blame Ronaldo because they'll get the most clicks. That's what the mainstream media think. Clicks, views, money. Actually, let's be real. Ronaldo is doing his job. The midfield isn't. The midfield is 100% the problem at Manchester United. And we need to change that midfield. They need to kick up the arse. And we need a CDM. And I absolutely pray that we go and give Ralf Rangnick the CDM he wants. I pray we go and give Ralf Rangnick the CDM he wants. But I don't trust Man United. I don't trust the Glazers to do that. I don't. But please do smash a like on the video, guys, if you have not already. And, of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you are new. The Liverpool game was called off. But, yes, smash that subscribe button. I will be back live tomorrow night with some more transfer news updates, some more Manchester United news updates. So if you're new to the channel, do subscribe for daily Manchester United watch-along, match updates, and more. Smash a like, smash a subscribe. See you next time, guys. Bye, Z.